Hello viewers, welcome to Mythology. In this session, we'll learn about the cranial and the spinal nerves. Both the cranial and the spinal nerves belong to the somatic nervous system. And the somatic nervous system is part of the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is generally composed of all such nerves of the body that carry impulses to and from the central nervous system. When it comes to the cranial nerves, which is a part of the somatic nervous system, these cranial nerves arise from the cerebrum and the brain stem. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and these cranial nerves can either be sensory type, motor type, or mixed type. This mixed type we also sometimes name it as of both types. Now I have a mnemonic which will give you an understanding of the logical order for these cranial nerves, because we also name these cranial nerves as cranial nerve number 1, number 2, and then finally we go up to the cranial nerve number 12. First, let me give you the mnemonic and then we will associate it with the different cranial nerves. The mnemonic reads, only one of the two angels felt very genuine, valued and honored. In a mnemonic, I hope you understand the first letter of each word is assigned with the term that you need to understand or learn. So the first word is only, followed by one. So the first and the second letter both should start with O. So the first cranial nerve starting with O is the olfactory nerve, and the second one also starting with O is the optic nerve. The third and the fourth letters in the sentence are of the. So the third O is for the oculomotor. Then we have the fourth, which is the. The T of the is for the trochlear nerve. Then we have the fifth word, which is two, TWO. The T is for the trigeminal. The sixth word is angels. That A in the angels is for the abducens, followed by the word felt. F is for the facial nerve. Then we have very genuine. V is for the vestibulocochlear nerve. Then the G for the genuine is for the glossopharyngeal. Then we have the word valued. That valued starting in V is for the 10th cranial nerve called the vagus nerve. The last two words are and, honored. So the A of and is for the accessory nerve, and finally the 12th cranial nerve starting in H, that is hypoglossal nerve. I also said that the cranial nerves can either be sensory, motor or mixed, which we will assign here as both. Now I have a second mnemonic to give you a clear cut way for remembering which type of nerve are these cranial nerves. You have to always remember them in the serial order. So coming from the first cranial nerve to the 12th cranial nerve. Now I have framed another mnemonic with 12 different words in a sentence, which will make you remember the type that the cranial nerve is. The sentence reads, Sammy shouted. So the first two are S types. That S is the sensory nerves. So the first cranial nerve and the second cranial nerve are both sensory type. The third and the fourth words in the mnemonic are more money. Both of them starting in M. So both of them are of the motor types. The fifth and the sixth words in the sentence are but my. So B is for the both. or which is better known as the mixed type. M again is for the M is for the motor nerve. Then the next two words are brother, said. So the B is again for the both type. Both is means here mixed. The next word was said. So S is for the sensory type. The next two words are big brains. So both of these B's are for the both type, or what we better call it as the mixed nerve type. And the last two words in the mnemonic are matters most. So the M in both of them means they are motor nerves. Why did I use both in that case? I hope you can connect, because both the motor nerve and the mixed nerve would come up with an M, again leading you to confusion. That's why the sentence that I framed in the mnemonic, I used the words with B so that you could easily differentiate between the motor type and the mixed type. Now the next we have in the somatic nervous system are the spinal nerves. Let us know how many in numbers are the spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are 31 pairs. So here all these spinal nerves, they arise on either side of the spinal cord. Here these are usually the ones that are associated in the neck region and in the torso, which help in different kinds of activities of the muscles around them and the other associated organs in those regions. Each of these spinal nerves are of mixed type. That means they will have both the sensory as well as motor fibers in them. The spinal nerves, which usually starts with the sensory organ, takes the impulses through the sensory nerve, which further goes through a ganglion. Ganglion then leads through the sensory nerves into the horn of the spinal cord. There we have an association neuron, who then transfers it to a motor fiber, and then the motor fiber leads it out through the motor nerve, and finally going into the part of the organ or something where it has to produce an effect. So I hope you could understand the differences between the spinal nerves and the cranial nerves. At least coming with the numbers, the cranial nerves are 12 pairs, whereas the spinal nerves are 31 pairs. And if you want to know about the nature, the cranial nerves can either be sensory or mixed or motor types. But comes to the spinal nerves, they are all of the mixed type. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.